you need about 3,500 before you start your international education in the USA, even after scholarship. Yes, you heard me right. I'm sure by now you're confused. You're like, but when I read the school's portal, it says that GA ship will cover my tuition, will cover my stipend, everything. So why do I still need money before I can travel? Are you sure you're not lying to us? I'm not lying to you guys. What I'm saying is the truth, and I know that your scholarship is 100%. Some have even promised to travel, to pay your travel, your transportation to the US and everything, which is good news. But you still need $3,500 at least before. And if you sit with me, I will explain why soon. Always know that all these videos I make is made with deep love and good intentions to ensure that your application process is made easier, and I really appreciate if you like, comment, or share with your friends. Thank you. What I'm about to explain to you today is just like an exclusive overview of how much you would need. We have something called service fee. The service fee is like, for all international students who want to study in the US and get an F1 visa, you have to pay service fee. I think it goes to the US Department of Education. I want to describe it more or less like as a registration that allows you to study in the US, and whether you get a visa or not, you have to pay for the service fee because it will be checked when you go for the visa interview, and the service fee costs $350. Yes, every single person has to pay, whether you have a scholarship or not. You have to pay. And after the service fee, you would also have to pay for the visa fee itself. For F1 visa, which is the student visa that all of us in America, for like all international students in America pay, the F1 visa is $160. Yes, so it's $160. So 160 plus the 350, then you end up paying $510 dollars. That is how much you have to pay. So even before you get your visa, you should know that you will spend about $510 US. So please psych yourself. You will spend about $510 US. This is the barest minimum. Yes, so if you don't live within where like in most places where American embassies are only one, or in certain circumstances you have to travel to a different country, or you have to travel from where you live to the city or your country's capital where you have the US embassy, you have to consider accommodation as well. You have to consider traveling. In the event that you don't get dates in your home country, it means you have to travel to a different country. And even within your own country, if you don't have family or friends around, it means you have to sleep in a hotel, and this also comes with extra cost. And you also have to transportation, even when you live within the capital or where the embassy is, because of the pressure for the day, most people would want to go with Uber and other means of private transportation if you don't have your personal car. So factor accommodation, transportation, and all of that into it. And before the visa interview, whether it's a yes or a no, you're already spending $600. Apart from the $600 that you have to have in your account before the visa interview, then comes what happens after the visa interview. I'm sure eventually I would be making more videos on visas and everything and what goes into it and some of the expectations. After you get your visa approved, what you have to do next is for you to start preparing for your travel. And as part of the travel, you would need some basics. Some people pick some few provisions, others don't already have luggage, so you have to buy luggage like traveling bags and a few clothes, like something very basic. And at that point, you should get, if you are a broke girl like myself, or if you're from a very poor family like myself, you have to get about at least $200 for your luggage and for those basics. So think about it, that is $200. So even as you are spending your money ahead of the new year, please put money down for all of these things. If you have uncles and aunties who come through for your parents, I envy you. But if you don't have, like in my situation, please try your best to put it down. That is $200. And after that, you should also think about your plane ticket. I put plane ticket cost, I can't tell because depending on the season and the airline you want to use, but between $1,200 to $2,000 or even more. If your visa comes late and you have to travel like a week, that could be more. So between $1,200 and $2,000. So averagely at least $1,500, $1,600 you should have to support the travel, even after you got a full or 100% scholarship. Finally, God helps you and get a visa, but just know that you have to pay for plane tickets about $1,600. After getting the plane ticket, you go to the US. please. And one thing I know, and like one I've realized, that in most American universities, when you come, let's say when the school reopens in August, right from August, though you'll be working as a GA or your scholarship poster, but they don't start paying you in August until, let's say, September ending. The reason being that you don't yet have a social security number, because sometimes they want to check the tax rate, the tax value, and everything. And since you don't have it yet, they can't start paying you. That means you don't start receiving money. So think about your rent. Depending on the kind of person you are, the rent that you'll be paying, the city that you the school is. I'm putting rent between 300 to 800, or even 1,000. Yes, so think about your rent, average like 500. And after you've paid the rent, you have to eat, so you have to get something on you, like your upkeep money, and then something to buy utensils for food, like a few basics for the first 3 weeks or a month before you get paid. Because in Easton, we didn't get paid until September end, which is like 6 weeks. So for that 6 weeks, how do you keep up? And sometimes most apartments would want to get either a renter's insurance, eventually I will explain it, or they want to get a deposit. So for the deposit, you have to, some require that you pay like half, or you pay the full amount. Let's say the rent is 400, you pay a deposit of 400, or you pay half, so that's a $600. And you have to eat as well, like I've already mentioned, and you have to pay for utility. No, not utility. You don't have to pay for utilities yet. You also have to pay for at least a table and a chair. If you get an unfurnished apartment, it means you have to get a few, like bed, mattress, yeah, those stuff. But if it's furnished, yes, but you also have to get like utensils, especially if you don't have roommates that are already Africans or people that you already know that you are going to meet. So that should be around 1,500 for your rent, pocket money, and upkeep, like realistically. So I really do not support schools that ask them to make deposits for fees. Sometimes they'll give percentages, like pay $400 or pay for your insurance, pay for housing until you get your visa. I would advise that do not pay anything like that. Do not pay anything. Don't be in a haste, because refunding the money could be very difficult. And some even stated categorically that this money is not refundable. Is that what you want to do with your dollars? No, I don't think that's what you want to do. So before you pay the money to any school or to any individual or to any organization, try your best to make sure that you have got your visa first. This is like a caution I want to put through before continuing with this video, and I hope that you will listen. But that's based on your own discretion. If your instinct tells you to pursue it by paying money, why not? Please pursue it and then pay. For service and visa, you should be looking around 600, but you can spend around between 520 to 600 or more, but averagely be looking around 600. And apart from service, you should also consider your plane tickets, which should be around between 1,200 and 2,000, but be looking around 1,500, making that $2,100 already before you even get to America. And when you get to America, your rent and your upkeep and all of that, let's put that around 1,400. So it means you should be looking around 3,500, $3,500 US. It's a lot of money if you are from a home like mine. So even as you chew the chicken, even as you make plans for next year, if you want to go to school, please try your best to put some money together, some money down, and then be looking for alternative means to raise the money. Because most of us, like if you are like where I found myself 3 years ago, it means you can't raise it by your own. You can't raise it on your own. You need help from family and friends. So you try your best to be informing them ahead of time, especially now that the economies are all struggling everywhere. People can't just give you money like that. So please tell them, give them months ahead, and all of these monies you'll be paying them in 7 months time or 6 months time. But for the next 4 months ahead of the visa, at least get $600 US down. That's how much you should put together. I hope this video was helpful, and please enjoy with your family. Don't overthink it. God will come through for you. God came through for every single person, even the broke of the broke. God came through for every single person. This is just to give you a good idea, so you add this to your plan. This is very helpful, and it will give you a fair idea of what you are getting yourself into. And as always, I hope you wouldn't forget to like or comment and ask me questions that you may find helpful. Thank you very much.